Don Phillips is the retired bishop of the Anglican Diocese of Rupert's Land. And this one day he had convened a meeting of senior clerics in the diocese. And being one who wants things done, found it necessary that we schedule a next date for the next meeting. So he was quick to suggest that how about Monday in the morning, just before much of the stuff goes on for the week. And I was quick to respond by saying that, no, Bishop, I won't come because I go to church. Earlier on, he had known for years that Monday is my day off. So he was curious to know which church I'm going to. And I quickly said St. MacDonald's. Now, being an Anglican bishop, the tradition is the bishops name churches. And he did not remember having named a new church in the diocese. As he was pondering that, the rest of the archdeacons, 2 of them to be exact, started laughing because they caught it. This was McDonald's. By the way, if you were to Google where, what am I doing? Okay, there we are. If you are to Google where we come from and where this ministry is derived from, it's St. Clement's Anglican Church. By the way, outside of the perimeter, so for 18 years now, I've been doing church with the folks there. And I always say that the service begins as we leave the doors of the church following worship. We never begin our service by the processional hymn. We begin by going out of the doors. And the bishop is familiar, and those who have been to St. Clement's are familiar of that little thing, which is by the door as you come out of the church. Human needs and divine love meet at those 2 doors. What's our neighborhood like? Well, we have Life Lease right on the grounds of the church, 49 suites. But more so, we have McDonald's on Main Street. That's where St. MacDonald's Church is found. And what do we do there? Yeah, that's it. We meet, we have conversations. Except we have a good seating arrangement there at this St. MacDonald's Church. The women definitely don't sit with men. And the men, it's a no-no to sit with women. And the reason is simple, not because of feminism or something else. It is because men have these world problems to solve, and women have very, very important issues to talk about. So we are busy in our constituencies doing our thing. Conversation goes on from one end of the spectrum to the other end. And that by the end of the hour or 2 hours, we kind of disperse and everybody goes home. Conversation. Conversation which does not necessarily include secularism, faith, or anything. Conversation which depends on who is initiating the conversation that morning. I must show you a picture though. You notice that there is a little guy sitting amongst women. It was because the men did not show up that day. And it was kind of lonely. And so I went to sit with the ladies. Now, folks who come to this place at the same hour when we meet know what I am, and they know my name. I've been going there for more than 6 years. While they know that I'm a priest, and as I know myself as a priest, I only have my shirt, which is the usual shirt I put on, not a collar and not this cross, and be present. Times and again, friends have said, do you know so-and-so is in hospital? And now, I'll tell you a story, and I won't use the names because I see somebody knows the people I'm talking about. Let me use the word or the name Miller. Miller came to me and said, you see Jane in the corner where she normally sits? And I said, yes. She's struggling because her husband is dying. Except they are so private. Even we women here have friends for years, are not allowed in the house. Is there any way you can go? So I said, by all means. Now, for those who have known me before, you are lucky you don't know me, most of you. I'm kind of bubbly sometimes. I got so excited, and I got to the door, and she came, opened the door, stood by the door, this much open. How are things, I asked. Not very good. How is my friend? Not so good. I said, yes, I thought I would come to see you. Yes. I quickly noticed that she was not inviting me in the house. So I said, well, look, this is really good I came, but how about if I left you to go look after him and I'll come back again? She said, thank you very much. Close the door. Lo and behold, after 1 week, Mira asks again and said, did you? I said, yes, I did, but it was this much for the door. And she said, yeah, well, lucky you got in that much, but that's all right. I went again. And this time she said, come in, let's sit down. We sat at the door, at the table, kitchen table, and told me how he was. And that was okay. I said, I think I need to go. Would you like a cup of tea? I said, this is it. I said, sure, I like tea. I really don't like tea. But I said, so we had a cup of tea. And I went home. The third time I went back. And this third time when I went back, not only did we have tea, she asked me a question. Do you want to take a peek at him? Those were the exact words. I said, yes. So I went. 4 steps up, got into the house, into the room, and all I did was to stand and I held the doorway with both my hands, and I looked in, and I left. And as I was leaving, she said, can you give me a hug? We hugged. It was time to ask if she needed a prayer, which we did. The 4th time I got a call, I was coming, or whatever time it was, I was coming from Mallard Park in Petersfield. It was about noon, and when the phone rang, it was dead silence. And I called her name, and she said, he's gone. I asked, who are you with? And she said, myself, alone. Sat for 6 hours with her, the dead man in his bed, until when the funeral home came to pick him up. 2 things. If we had only stayed and remained at the address of 1178 River Road, St. Clement's Anglican Church, there is a group of 20 people we would not have ministered to. And by leaving our doors to be there, we've drawn a new circle of friends who are having trust in this church, as you call it, that they can share what matters to them most. Thank you.